So one of my friends almost made it to top 32 at a online regionals event with almost over 500 players. And the deck that he played was really crazy, and it's something that I've never seen before, and you probably won't find it anywhere else as well. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Hello Digimon players and fans, welcome back to another new Digimon deck profile video. So my friend Fu, who piloted this deck, ended up placing 36, and he was so close to 32, but nonetheless he did a great job and with a spectacular performance on that online regionals. The deck that he played is something that me and my friends decided to call it Tricolor DNA. It mainly focuses on yellow, blue, and purple, where you actually mainly have the yellow-blue package as your base, and then you have Shakkoumon, which is sort of your level 5 boss Digimon, and Kimeramon as well. And then going into your top and level 6s, he actually played Ophanimon, which has purple components to it as well. At first, when he showed us this deck, we were all just like, well, how is this going to work? This is just a jumble of random colors. But after playtesting with him and sort of seeing how the deck works, it's actually surprisingly really good and consistent in what it can do. It is definitely a control style deck where you do heal your security quite a bit with Shakkoumon and Ophanimon. And then the winning condition is to slowly chip down your opponent's security until you win. So huge shoutouts to Fu, as he's going to be doing a deck profile for us for today. Now I know you guys are super eager to see the deck profile, but just before we hop into it, make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet and turn on that notification bell for more amazing Digimon videos and content on the channel. We got lots of Digimon videos for the BT8 format, so you definitely want to stay tuned for those. Also be sure to give this video a like because it just really helps. With that out of the way, let's have Fu go through with us the ultimate spice of this entire deck. Alright guys, here is our 36th place. We have Fu with us today. Alright Fu, what you got for us?
Alright, for the card manager regionals, me and my friend Dan ran this weird DNA sort of turbo type deck.
We call it Rainbow, right?
Yeah, we call it Rainbow. It starts out with a yellow base.
Okay, let's go ahead.
4 QPs or 1 Upa.
Okay.
Egg. Considering the rest of the deck, you'll see why we opted out for these.
Yeah.
Because we typically in this deck have above 5, so we generate a lot of value out of QP.
Okay, cool.
And so next are our rookies. We ran 2 Candle, 4 Armadillo, 4 the EXO1 Sala, which function essentially as a second QP, where if you're above 3 security, you draw 1 when attacking, and then Pada for DNA shenanigans at the end of the turn.
Okay, cool.
The Candle gets value out of some of the champions that we'll point out here, being the 3 Black Goddess.
Okay.
Considering that it allows you to hard play Black God of 4, which actually did come up to end some games.
Okay.
As well as some of the other champions are Toby, to Kaze, and to Ankleo to help smooth out your DNA.
Okay.
Digivolving.
So really, so far, it's really just mainly like yellow, and then there's a bit of blue, there's a bit of purple so far.
Yep.
And then,
this is mainly because at the time, the regionals, we only had access to actually 2 DNA. No, 3 if you consider Sulfate. But, so the main portion of the deck is actually running into the Shack and the Tamers.
Okay.
So at the time of the regionals, we didn't have access to Mastemon, we didn't have access to Imperial, so the only way to really use the DNA mechanic was using Shakir and Chimera.
Okay.
And that's why the entire base is built around blue and yellow, and then a little bit of purple for sort of just a bit of the rush.
Okay. Does the retaliation come up for you?
It came up a lot in terms of like protecting your big stack.
Okay.
Because at the time, since there wasn't any chaos degradation, most of the ways your opponent would try to get rid of your big stack is to swing over it.
Right, right.
And so this provides protection for that stack.
Okay. And then as for Armadillo, how consistent was the searching going on for you? Like, were you able to get your hits quite a lot of times, or?
Very consistent.
Very consistent.
Because you can hit any of the Gatos, you can hit the Angemons, you can hit any of the Shakkus, and this is probably a good time to introduce the 6s.
Okay.
The main 6 that we dealt with was Ophani.
Okay.
And Armadillo can also hit Ophani, but so in this deck in particular, if you have the Black Auto underneath, then you can get both the healing and the champion destruction effect off the Ophani.
Right.
And realistically, the main game plan of the deck was to build into a big Ophani stack and just keep swinging with it.
Okay. And keep healing at the same time,
keep healing, keep swinging, all this stuff, because the Shakku Inheritable actually comes up a lot in the deck.
Right.
Where you can minus 3k DP off something.
Okay.
And then it removes, like, smaller bodies.
Right.
And you don't really have to worry about it.
Okay.
Too much. And so, at the time, since there was no Chaos Degradation, any of the removal effects would trigger the Undulation.
Right.
And so you would always get value out of this one set.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then for a 5th 6, it's just a Maste for basically to clinch out a game. It's
Okay.
just for finishing.
Has it happened?
Not really.
Actually?
Like in hindsight, the correct card to put here would have probably been Creepy.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of yellow hybrid in that particular regionals, and it came down to like either this deck decking out or the other deck decking out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, then for the final bit of the top end, it's just 3 defeats.
3 defeats.
For good old Tamer control, for hoping it's in your security.
Come out from security, GG.
Easy.
Okay, cool. So that's all for the Digimon, and let's go into the Tamers and options.
As for the Tamers, we have 3 Cody,
Yep.
2 Kari, 1 TK.
1 TK.
And just a single option.
And a single option, the best yellow option in the game.
The only good yellow option. Initially, the list was running 3 Flame Hell Scythe, but since we didn't have access to a lot of the starter deck cards, it became very hard to activate it.
Right, because you need to fulfill the purple and yellow conditions, right?
Yeah, and the only real way to do that was either to top it out at the Ophani or to sit with a Black Auto into Raising, which wasn't always great.
Gotcha.
And so we ended up replacing it with 3 Codys.
Right.
And this did put in a lot of work throughout the day, because typically what ends up happening is you have a big Ophani stack.
Yeah.
And using Ophani and Shakku, you would be able to -3 off the Shakku and then tap any number of Codys to -5 and -7. And
Right.
it removes most of the ultimates and champions off
Right.
the board.
If not, you can swing over like Megas too, right?
Yeah.
That's really good.
And Megas can't really swing over you because you usually have Black Auto underneath.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty good.
Would you consider playing 3 Karis instead of TK?
I think the TK was just here to try to be a little bit more consistent, because the issue with the deck, I think overall, is that you need a full stack to have the power. And so, like, usually I would TK to try to find the missing piece.
Gotcha. Okay. And how were your matchups like?
Too much yellow hybrids to count. In the matchups which weren't yellow hybrids, I think I played against Armor Rush a couple of times, and that matchup turned out pretty well because you have a lot of control tools.
Right.
And a lot of the control tools, when you're going into them, like with Shakku and Ophani, heal you at the same time.
Right.
And so it was good there, but the yellow hybrid matchup was pretty difficult because you could end up having like 7 security versus their like 5 security.
Gotcha.
But they could just deck you out.
Gotcha.
If they played correctly.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, Fu, do you have any like quick combos you want to showcase on how this kind of deck works?
You just DNA.
What's the most common combo you always see that you've always played?
Yeah. Probably something like this. It could be any of the rookies in Raising.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So It'd be QB, it could be Armadillo, Candle, or any one of those.
Yep.
And then Angemon and Raisin.
Angemon, right?
They build up a board, they push out on their side, and then you either bring this out, you either go Ankleo
For
or,
3, yeah.
or Toby.
Yep.
Both of them for 3. And then you Jogress into actually any of your options. You can DNA into one or the other.
Right.
If you want to remove them off the board, you could DNA into this.
Yep.
Which would heal you 1. If you go to 6, you can bounce a level 6 Digimon.
Right? Yeah.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
If they have a wide board full of like rookies, you can go into Chimera for popping 3.
Right.
And then you would typically try to end off on an Ophani to sort of protect your stat.
Gotcha.
So even if it gets removed, you get a 4 back.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So one quick question. Do you feel like with this sort of really control-heavy base deck, do you often run into like any time issues during the regionals?
Specifically against Yellow Hybrid, it did because like their win condition was ducking out.
Right.
And then my win condition was just trying to grind them out with the Ophanis and hoping they didn't have the answer.
Okay.
So specifically against that deck, yes. Against the other decks, which are like more mid-range, mainly just Armor Rush.
Okay.
It wasn't an issue.
Cool. Awesome. All right then. Well, any other shout-outs, remarks you want to quickly say before we end the video?
Shout out to Dan.
Shout out to Dan.
Shout out to Dan. Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Okay,
Shout
awesome.
out to Dan for the deck list. God
Yep.
bless.
Yep. So Dan, just so you guys know, Dan was the one who actually created this first, and then Fu took it, and then he kind of twisted it a little bit for his own play style, and he able to basically come up on top in the end.
This was the only addition I did.
The addition, the Tobiomon.
Good old Toby.
That's good. Awesome. All right then. Yeah, thank you so much, Fu. I appreciate it. That will wrap up for the deck profile of the Tricolor DNA for today. Once again, huge shout outs to Fu for sharing this awesome deck and topping the regionals event. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Once again, we got lots more BT8 deck profiles coming up, so be sure to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video. This is AVAULT, signing